is going live now. Hey, we are live. So happy that you're here. Right now we're going live for a new SOULCARE live class. Welcome everybody. And I will invite, I'm gonna check if I can see Fabienne, our beautiful guest for this evening, and I will try to invite you and check out if I can find you.
Do I need to be in the live?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be helpful. Yes, and in a second we're gonna have to mute the sound of our laptops, otherwise it will be double. I can see you now. Yes. All right. So I'm gonna mute the sound of the laptop. Okay. I'll mute that now, and gonna try to invite you. Yes. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you everybody that's watching this after today's live. Hey, dear Fabienne. Happy to see you. Oh, wow. Thank you everybody that is hopping on, that is coming through tonight. If you miss anything, you can always come back and check out this live session on our social media pages. We will also share it with Fabienne so that she can share it on her social media. And this will also be recorded for a future podcast. I can see that some people are hopping on, so I will try and welcome every one of you every now and then. And if you feel like you'd like to ask a question to Fabienne or to me, you are so welcome. It's such a brave thing to ask questions, so we don't take that for granted. I just want to thank you for anything that you'd like to share with us, so please type it in the chat box below if you feel like that. We'll be diving into a beautiful special topic this evening, but before that I'd love to introduce Fabienne, and at the end she has prepared a special exercise as well to share with you and, well, with me as well. It's going to be so much fun. I'd love for you to stay and to experience the exercise as well at the end. But of course, if you for some reason miss out on anything, you can come back and watch this later or listen to it later. I'm really grateful for you being here, all of you watching, but also you, Fabienne, for taking out the time of your precious time schedule. I know that you are a busy lady, and also for everybody watching this evening, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And you know, we don't take that lightly. It's a big thing that you do that out of all the million things that you can do in this day. So thank you. Just to start off, I'd love to give a warm welcome to you, Fabienne. For me, I'm just going to speak from the heart. For me, you are such a beautiful, bright soul that I'm so grateful to have met in these past over a year already. It's a blessing to know you, to kind of be inspired by you. For people that don't know you yet, Fabienne is such a special being. She is a serial entrepreneur, she runs several businesses, and it's not only that she's able to run all of them, but she also knows how to bring it to a success, how to be profitable in that sense, and to still create a life that brings fulfillment and do it from the heart. And I think that's something that I see in you that really touches me, that really amazes me, and keeps on, like, with every new thing you create and all the beautiful creative products and programs that you put out here in this world. It's, yeah, not everybody has that skill, and also I don't think I believe everybody can learn it, but for some reason you are so far on that journey already, and this is something I'm it's like I said, it's a blessing to may grow with you in that sense, and to have you here tonight, share your wisdom with us. That's a big gift. So thank you so much, dear. Is there anything that you'd like to kind of add to this, or to start today with, that I might have missed out on that you also do?
Well, first of all, thank you for your kind words. I don't think I can add anything, or that I would say the same about myself. But well, also, yeah, first of all, I'm very grateful that I met you. We've known each other for a year now. And well, your program has really helped me to see things differently as an entrepreneur, because you're so busy on the daily doing things that you have to do, that sometimes you don't really take care of yourself that well. So I'm happy that because of your program, I got to learn skills to make sure that I can still be myself, and that I'm not my job or not my business, or not the person who's responsible for everything, but that I can also, you know, take time for myself. So I'm very happy that you taught me that. And then today, of course.
Yes, it's well. Thank you for saying that, dear. Like, even more gifts coming this way, and in the meantime, thank you everybody for showing us so many love and hearts. Thank you. I see, if I say it right, Bienva service.
Yeah,
I see.
I know that lady. She's a
Oh,
very talented virtual assistant.
oh, wow. Thank you for being here, and Kimmy, and Lauren styling, sparkle balloons. I see Pussy, I see Rihanna. Um, I saw Alexander before, and Hans. Thanks everybody for being here. It's a blessing to have you here. Um, and thank you, Fabienne, for starting off with those gifts of sharing what your experience has been. I would love to kind of, you know, dive a bit with you into today's topic, which is how to stay grounded in the midst of overwhelm when building your business. And for everybody here that is an entrepreneur, or that dreams of, you know, sharing your message in this world in one way or the other, if you feel like you have this purpose or this passion or this big drive to kind of walk your path and share your knowledge and your wisdom, because you just know deep down inside that somebody will be helped by the things that you've learned already. I think that's a gift. Not everybody, I think it's, you know, a small percentage of people on this earth dares to walk this path of the entrepreneur. I don't think that's a lot of people on this earth. So, you know, there's some giftedness in that, I think, on its own. And I see that in you. You know, you've built your businesses. Would you maybe share with us what it is that you do now and how you've started? Just to let us know a bit on your journey. Would you be okay with that, sharing a bit?
Of course, I'd love to share my mistakes, but also my wins. So, well, let's beginning.
Yeah.
Somewhere in 2017, I was 29. I was like, is that true? Yeah, well, so I was turning 30 somewhere around that time, and I was like, okay, I want something for myself. I worked at an international organization. I had a very good job, but it wasn't a job where I could express my creativity or do something with the things that I'd love to do. So I started searching for how to become a party planner, how to organize kids' parties, stuff like that. And then I realized that in the US and in Australia, it was really a job. I was like, wow, okay, I can do something with this. So I started writing out a plan because I love to write. And I write it out. I started writing just things that came up, how I visualized myself being an entrepreneur, what I had to think of, what it would look like, how I would feel being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But it was quite hard because I didn't know where to start, didn't know what to do. I didn't know anyone in that profession. So that's how I started out, just by trying, just by practicing. And that's how it grew. In the beginning, I must say the first 6 months was like, it was really hard because I didn't have anyone to discuss my ideas with. And when you're not surrounded by other entrepreneurs or people who aspire to be an entrepreneur, you get responses that can hurt you, you know, like, who would pay for that? Why do you think it will be a success? So you have to be really strong to pursue your dreams, you know? You have to be really passionate to do what you want to do, because without passion, you're not going to make it. I'm very sure of that. And it wasn't about the money either for me, because I didn't make any in the first year. I was like sponsoring my business with my job. So yeah, that's how I began. It was really from the heart, and it still is. I don't do anything because of money. I do it because I really want to do it. And if I don't feel it, then I don't do it. So yeah, that's how I started out. And I must say that now I understand why people say that it's a real journey when you become an entrepreneur, because it is. People who think that in the first 6 months or first year you will be successful, yeah, don't start the journey, because it's just not true. And every time you pass a certain phase, you will encounter other issues and struggles. So I think for me now, I'm officially in like my 5th year, but it feels like 3rd year or something as an entrepreneur. I think that now I feel more grounded, and I feel more like, okay, I got this under control. I know what I want. I know what I stand for. But it took a long time.
Thank you for that honesty. I love it. And it's so true. I think many of us, you know, can recognize that when you start out, you're sponsor, like you just said, you're sponsoring your own dreams in the beginning, because, you know, you're really doing it from the heart. You're the one with the vision. You can see it, and that passion and that heartfelt longing, almost, you know, that's what keeps you going forward. Even though, you know, I don't know if this is the same for you, but this journey really, it's like you're the instrument yourself. So you keep on kind of, you know, finding these new bumps in the road, or things that you need to cross over, fears that you kind of have to look at to, you know, get to that next step.
Definitely. And also knowing what you should stop doing, you know, because in the beginning you feel invincible. You're like, okay, I got this. I can do everything and anything by myself. And then after a while, when you get tired and annoyed by certain things, you're like, I'm just one person. So you have to let go of certain things, because you just can't do it all. That's the conclusion that I came to after a while, because I tried to do it all, you know. You can still have the vision, because I still feel like I'm the mastermind behind everything, because it comes from my head. But I don't necessarily have to be the person who executes everything. If I teach the right person how I want things done, then they can do it for me. But of course, the control freak that I am, I still interfere a little bit, but it's something that you learn along the way. You know, just because you can do certain things doesn't mean you have to do it all.
Yes, I love that one. Yes, because, you know, what I would love to kind of ask next, just repeating for people that come in or just came in, today's topic is how to stay grounded in the midst of overwhelm when building your business. And you just shared so beautifully on how these first years, you know, you're well into the 5th year of your business, which is, you know, congratulations on that, dear, because there's a big percentage of businesses not making it those first 5 years. So that's a big accomplishment. Like, wowzers, that's big. And, you know, you're still here, and you're doing it so beautifully. And you even have like 2 businesses, as I believe, as I understand. Could you maybe share a bit on what it is you know, for people that don't know you?
Yeah, well, I started out with a kids party business. It was called My Party Planner. That was my initial business.
Yeah.
I wanted to entertain kids during parties, during their own birthday parties. And what I came to realize after a while was that I was more interested in sharing experiences with these kids instead of really styling the party like an extravaganza party, which I totally love. But I felt that that was more destined to be for someone else and not really for me. So after a while, I couldn't really, I didn't get any energy out of it anymore. And that was after 2 years. And I was like, okay, I have this new vision, but am I willing to let go of everything I built in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
And I was at a sort of crossroads because I didn't want to leave behind what I worked so hard for. But on the other hand, I was like, I know that this new vision will work. So I switched from a kids party company to a wedding nanny service. It's called the Bruiloft Nannies in Dutch. So the wedding nannies. And I'm very happy that I did because now everything falls into place. I've been doing it for, 2.5 years now. And it just clicked. This was what it was supposed to be. So that's the kind of nannies, and I'm really, really happy with that business. It gives me joy every day, and now I have like 15 nannies, and I handpick them myself, and they're just like, they're all like my sis. They feel like my sisters, you know. I'm like, yeah, they're without them, I'm nothing. The business is nothing without them. So yeah, I'm really happy that that evolved in a way. And also I had to make the mistakes I made before to make sure that this became a success, because you know what to look for and what you should not do. So yeah, that's the Bruiloft Nannies, my baby. But all the mistakes I made along the way when I had my party planner, I bundled those things because I love journaling, and I will share more about that at the end. But I write everything down, my feelings, my ideas, my mistakes, because I want to learn from it. And I used to ignore all the things that triggered me. If something bad happened, I was like, oh, well, let's forget about it. But now I write everything down. And I also did that with the mistakes I made. And at a certain point, I felt really alone in this business. So I was like, I'm going to start a Facebook group just to share ideas and not feel alone, because everyone around me was going crazy. They didn't want to hear anything about party planning anymore. And that Facebook group just grew, and there were more women who were interested in party planning, but also interested in knowing how certain things were done. And because of them and the questions they asked, I started relating them or connecting them to the mistakes I made before. And I realized that more women were making the same mistakes. So I took, I think, a year to write a program. And it's called Van Passie naar Party Planner. So from passion to party business or party planner. And that's how I started Party Planning Academy, which is a platform. Yeah, it's an online platform, but soon it will also be an offline platform for women who want to become a party planner or are interested in the business of party planning. So those are two businesses. I equally love them. I equally put my energy in it. But as it grows, it also becomes harder to be the only person in that business doing everything. So now I'm out a lot. Yeah. It's a big step to take, I must say.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful that you are able to, and how you share your journey. I just wanted to thank you for that, for your openness. You know that it takes so much courage to share so openly about mistakes made, and you know those roadblocks sometimes that, you know, like you just shared, how you can be so passionate about your first business, but you at some point some shifts need to be made in order to make it a success and to keep on going, keep on growing. And you know the courage you just share in that, and how you've been able to do that, that's such a big thing. So I'm so grateful for you sharing that. And in the meantime, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here. There are even more people that came along. Alpha 10 event, Fancy Palace Kids. Lauren Styling is leaving us some beautiful hearts.
No.
Irike Herteleer is here. Thank you. Marijke, Leonora, Perfect Pastry, Julita, Sugar Bow, and this beautiful lady, Perfect Pastry shares. You go, girl. Interchanges, Tweety Bird. Hey, great that you're here. And Lawrence is also saying, so true. Xaviera, thank you. Chloe, CC Events, Shraddha Hira, if I pronounce it right, I hope so. Mo Hunted, Denise, looking forward. So many people have been hopping on. Melia, thank you also for all the hearts. And Mira, Maria, thank you, everybody. So you've shared already a bit on the topic on how to, how to stay grounded in the midst of overwhelm when building your business. So you've shared a lot on your journey and your current businesses and some of the mistakes and the steps and the roadblocks that got you to where you are now in over your 5th year. I mean, wow. Would it be okay with you just to kind of take us with you a little bit in when it comes to this? I love to host these SOULCARE live classes with the goal of the honesty that you already share here, like how we sometimes make mistakes or how we sometimes find ourselves in loneliness, like you did with opening up the Facebook group, or the journey, if it's entrepreneurial or not. It doesn't really matter. If people have something to share with the world or have been through something that, we all know how that can feel, can leave us in spots where we do not always want to be, or where we need to really face our fears or our tears, and let them go in order to grow from that. And when it comes to soul care, or when it comes to, prioritizing your health, like you already said at the beginning, what are some things that you came across on that journey, where you really needed to make some shifts, and what helped you how did you get to care for your soul in that sense?
Yeah, well, first of all, it was a roller coaster. Being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster. Sometimes it feels like it's just how it is. And I'm fine with that until the point that you start to feel very tired, you can't really sleep well, or you get annoyed easily. And every time when I start to feel like that, I know that I need rest. And luckily I have people around me who are not afraid to say that you're acting like a real, right now. Like, this is the sort of the line. So yeah, I think for me, I'm not a person that complains easily, like, oh, this is so hard, or oh, I'm so tired. It takes a while for me to recognize that I'm really tired.
Yeah.
But for me to make sure that I don't pass that sort of boundary, I journal what I said in the beginning. So I write everything down in the evening before I go to sleep. I have like these books that I love to buy, new notebooks, and I just write down how the day went, even if whether it's positive or negative. I just write it down. Things I'm grateful for. That's what a friend taught me, like 3 things. So that helps me. But also making time for family, making time for friends when I've been really busy, because they keep me grounded too, or going to my parents and just laying on the couch and just hanging and just laughing. That gives me a lot of peace. But I must say it's hard, because when you're a perfectionist, I know it's not really something to be very proud of sometimes, because you can cross boundaries when you're a perfectionist. But when you want things to always be right, it's very hard to say no to yourself at a certain point, because you know that you can reach a certain goal, but how far are you willing to go to reach that goal? At a certain point, you just have to pause or take a break. So for me now, to recognize that and to avoid those triggers, I make sure that at least in the weekends, I have nothing planned. So that helps me. I never plan anything in the weekends. It's like whoever calls or wants to do something, I will see if I feel like doing that. So that's something that helps me. And as an entrepreneur, especially in the party planning business, is hard because all of our bookings are in the weekends.
Yeah, that's
so be mindful.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So luckily for me, because with the wedding nanny business that I have, I don't have to do the work anymore. Well, I work very hard, but I mean, I have nannies who do the bookings and always on standby. They can call me whenever there's something, but never, and nothing ever happens. I call them like, why didn't you text me? Or is everything okay? They're like, chill, everything is fine. So that's my luck right now, that I worked hard for it to make sure that it works that way now, but that gives me peace, outsourcing. And I know it's hard in the beginning when you just start out with your business. You don't have the money to pay someone to do work for you. But you can also think like, okay, what can I pause right now? And what has to be done now?
Yeah.
So I make priority lists also in that same journal, like, okay, what's important? Is this really as important as I think it is? Or can I just let it go for now? So for me, writing helps a lot. And well, if someone ever finds those notes, they can read a lot of books and they'll be like, oh, that's what's going on in our head. But yeah, because I'm not really the person who wants to bother other people with all my, everything that's going on in my mind or whatever. So I'd rather write it down.
Yes, I love that. And it's so strong to kind of, it takes a big deal of practice to allow yourself to at least that's the way I see it. I'm curious about your view on that, but as I came to experience, for example, types of meditation, writing and journaling is in a sense, it's a form of meditation, really going inwards and allowing something to flow through you that makes you write whatever needs to be written. And it can be such a beautiful tool to kind of, let that go through you and be in the here and now, because that's, when you're writing, you really are. Sometimes you can be in the future or in the past with remembering or doing some, how do you in English?
Reflecting.
Kind of doing some, I'm looking for this word that I can't seem to get onto. Yeah, verwerking, like
processing.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yes, when it comes to processing, journaling is such a beautiful tool for that, but at the same time, it is you in the here and now creating some me time, and that's the most important part of it. And of course, at the same time, I would always suggest or but that's probably my background, to have people not only do things on their own, but ask for help every now and then. But I hear you say that you do that. You go to your family and your friends, and they're the ones that keep you grounded as well. And I would really advise that to people, to kind of create the two for yourself. How do you see that? What would you kind of?
Yeah, well, I must say I'm not a person that asks for help easily, but I think that first of all, you need to find a way to help yourself. And I'm only talking about when you feel like there's a lot going on in your head business-wise, then it's easy to find a mechanism for yourself to let go of these fears or triggers or whatever. For me, it's journaling. It can be anything else, I guess. And it's hard to open up to people who are not entrepreneurs. Of course, I have a lot of friends who aren't, and they can also give me insights or they can, advise me in another way. but
Mhm.
also a step to open up to people who aren't in business, because sometimes it's just hard for them to understand what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So I cannot say for a full 100%, like go to your friends and share with them what's going on, but don't be the only person walking around with those problems either. So find a way for yourself. I mean, you can walk for like 10 minutes outside for some fresh air every day, or I don't know, find a way to relax,
Mhm.
because you are your business, but in some way you are not your business, because if everything goes wrong with your business, you are still there, you know. So you need to find a way to make sure that you won't crash when your business crashes, and see those things separately.
I love it, and it's so important. Um, yes, I totally agree with you on that one. Where you know how important it is to kind of first know for yourself how to take care of yourself in that sense, and then you kind of stretched it out to, of course, don't walk too long with things on your mind on your own. I mean, every now and then creating some support is is super important. And then at the same time, like you just shared, that you are, your business is often your baby, or your product is often your baby, but at the same time, you kind of, you have one body, you have one life, and take care of it well in that sense. Like,
Definitely.
when something goes wrong in the business or in life, it is so important to kind of still be able to stay standing and take care of yourself. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, thank you. Um, is there anything, before we dive into your exercise in a bit,
Mm-hmm.
is there anything that that you feel is important regarding today's topic? Today's topic, just to repeat it for people that hop in,
Mm-hmm.
how to stay grounded in the midst of overwhelm when building your business. And in the meantime, new people came on. I see Esme. Hey, Nuti, happy you're here. Hannah. I see La Bestia, I think, if I say it right. Filippi, Galindo. I saw Rooney, that's my partner. I see Ilona, I think. Thank you everybody for being here. It's a gift. I see Jump Around Kids.
Oh yeah.
Hi, thanks for being here. So we dove in, and Fabienne shared so many truth bombs, and like so many beautiful, um, yeah, like golden nuggets, if you could say that, on how to deal with mistakes, how to stay grounded in your business and your entrepreneurial journey, and allow yourself to grow through some fears and mistakes in order to kind of transform it into successes. And maybe before we dive into your exercise that you've prepared, um, would that maybe be a good thing to kind of look at, when it comes to successes? Um, do you have any advice for people listening now? Like, if what does success mean to you, and you know what things would you say to people listening that are still in that midst of overwhelm?
Yeah. So I help a lot of women start their party business, and the first thing that comes to mind is overwhelm for everyone who starts a business in general.
Okay.
First of all, I would advise others to believe in yourself. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it's really true. You know, if you have that feeling that you're going to make it, you're going to make it. You know, whatever you have in your mind, it can be a success. And I'm always the person who says, I don't care what you do in this life, but everything you want to be a success will be a success. If you want to be like the I don't know, the best party planner in the Netherlands, and you work for it, you can become it. But not everyone is willing to do what it takes. So that's what makes the difference. But it starts with believing in yourself and knowing that you can make it. And if you look up to other people who've gone before you, if they can make it, you can make it. So first of all, I would say, To deal with overwhelm, you just have to believe that you are able to reach your goals, to believe in yourself, but then make it realistic, because you can't just be like, okay, I'm going to be the best party planner in the Netherlands, and then just sit and wait for it to happen. So you have to come up with a plan, because personally for me, when I write things out and make a plan, the overwhelm becomes less, because you feel like you have control over the things that are going to happen. So I would say break down everything that you want to do. So if you have one goal, break it down into little goals so you can reach each of them, you know, in a certain amount of time, and be realistic once more, because yeah, it takes time. Becoming a, you know, building a business takes time. So that's what I would recommend also. And in order to reach all these goals, I would say use a good planning tool. And of course, coming from a party planner, I wouldn't suggest otherwise. So I work with Nana, but you also have, like, if you work in Google Drive, you have Google Keep, you have Wunderlist, you have so many tools to write out your goals, your tasks, everything you want to reach or do or whatever. So write down what you're going to do, and don't just keep it in your head, because then it will fade or you will forget. But if you have a list or a way of you know, keeping your tasks and goals close to you, maybe I have a whiteboard here, you don't see it, but I see it every day, like what's going to happen in the coming months. And I believe that if you see it in writing, that it will become more real.
Yep.
So that's something that I would definitely recommend. And if you deal with overwhelm, how to stay grounded, well, find these things that give you peace. You know, I mentioned it before. For me, it's like hanging out with friends, but also sometimes doing nothing, not planning anything certain days of the week, writing down how a day went or whatever. But you have to find out for yourself what works, because what works for me doesn't necessarily have to work for someone else. But don't just put away those feelings or think that the overwhelm will go away, because it won't if you don't deal with it. So especially in the world of party planning, most of the people are organized, but not everyone, because yeah, some things you just have to learn. Yeah. But make sure that you organize it in some kind of way. Just like you organize a party, you should organize your life in a certain way so that it becomes easier.
I love it. Thank you so much. You shared such beautiful, yeah, it was not only advice, it was really, it came straight into my heart. I'm touched with what you share, because it's really so beautifully being of service now to people listening now or later. But I can really sense how you want people to succeed in that sense, and like you just shared, how important it is to create that planning, but also create those days of doing nothing, which for a lot of entrepreneurs it's hard to do. So
hard, even if it's 2 hours doing nothing, that also works.
Yes, it does work. To be honest, just sharing that with you, yesterday I had a day of doing nothing, and that also means not being, so it was a big practice, because on days that I do nothing, I tend to try and still be of some sort of, how do you say that again, nuttig, like it needs to make sense still, you know, so it still needs to kind of have any type or some sort of goal that will help in the long term. But that means that it's really hard for me to let those things go as well, you know. So that would be just an add-on for people listening, or you know, that it is normal that it's hard to do that, but it might be good to practice it.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. You can learn anything new if you just put time in it.
It is, yes, you can. And just if you could repeat those tools you just shared for people that like to write with us. You shared a couple of beautiful planning tools.
Yeah, so if you want to stay organized, I would recommend Asana. It's Asana. But you can also use, if you have a Google account, like a Gmail account, there's an app within your Google account called Google Keep. And you can just make lists, and just when you accomplish the list, it will strike through. You can make several boards. Like Trello is also a planning tool. And what I love about these planning tools is that you get a notification on your phone, for example, like, hey, today, this is the task you have to fulfill or whatever. And yeah, it gives you a feeling of control. Like, okay, I know what to do today. I'm going to do exactly this task today. And then when you've done it, then you can go on to the next thing for the next day.
Yes. And in the meantime, I'm not sure how you look at that, but I would also advise people to celebrate what has, what job or task has been completed.
I must say, there's a friend of mine, Helen, and she taught me to celebrate my wins. And when I don't, she just calls me and she just cheers me on like I won a marathon or something. And she's like, oh my God, you did this. And I was like, this is it. It's such a small accomplishment. She's like, no, it's really big. She makes everything big, but it gives you a feeling like, okay, I did something great that not anyone can do. But if you start taking everything for granted, but also if you see everything as like, it's not that special, then you don't feel the energy to do new things anymore. At least that's
big.
So even when I accomplished a simple task like writing a new module for my course, I'm like, yes, girl, you did it. Yeah. You're the best.
Yes, and that's so good. That's such a good thing. Thank you for bringing that up as well. Like, it's so important to celebrate even the small steps, because sometimes, especially the entrepreneurial souls amongst us, you are often your own cheerleader, and you do so many things on your own.
Yeah, you have to be. But I also understand that it's hard, because you keep going like, okay, this task has been done, on to the next.
Yeah. Yes, and we tend to forget it and don't even see it sometimes. Okay. And at the same time, that's a good thing to practice, to keep on celebrating. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm still learning to celebrate everything, even the small things. It's a process.
It is. I agree with you on that one. And still learning here too. And what I do realize now, just like you shared on the gratefulness practice in the evenings, for example, I try to do those in the morning as well. And the celebration things help me with sometimes I combine them, celebrating, gratefulness. They sometimes come together. And I notice now when I practice it more, or try to do this daily at least, or at least 5 times a week, I notice now that when I come from that space or that feeling, I do attract more of that as well. So it has a goal as well to kind of keep on celebrating and keep yourself in the happy vibes, because you'll attract what you love at the same time when doing that. Have you noticed that too?
Yes, definitely, because if the energy doesn't come from the person who puts their heart and soul in the business, then others will not feel it. I mean, if I don't celebrate my wedding nanny service or whatever, then the nannies who work for me will also think like, oh, she's not that excited about it. So, I'm not going to be excited too. So you have to be the cheerleader of your business, of your team, of everything, because energy is real. I mean, people feel when you're being negative or positive or whatever. But for me personally, next to energy, which I find very positive energy, I find that very important. But the other thing I find very important in order to grow is that you realize that you need other people to grow. Because if I'm overwhelmed with doing administrative tasks or things that are just not working for me, then I can never, ever, ever grow my business. Because I'm still the person that comes up with the new ideas. And if I'm overwhelmed with other things, then those ideas will never come to life. So I also think that at a certain phase in your business, you have to realize that you cannot be the person doing everything.
Yeah.
Because then you will put a sort of threshold for yourself, like, okay, it's up to here and that's it. But if you let go of that, you can do anything.
I love that. Yes, it's so true. And wow, the wisdom that pours through you now this evening. Thank you, dear.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
I would love to do that and keep on doing that. um, yes, just checking in with you. Everybody here, that more people came on, and thank you everybody for being here today, and even for listening afterwards. I'd love to kind of, give you the floor in that sense of sharing your exercise with us. Is there anything that you'd like to share before that, or I'm ready for that, so take us with you.
Well, I know that other people in your show prepared a certain exercise. For me, it's just sharing how I deal with overwhelm, and I hope it will work for the people who are watching, listening. Can I start, or?
Yes, go ahead. I'll sit back and
Yeah. So I will share my exercise, how I deal with overwhelm when I had a very busy day, or when I'm triggered, or when things just go totally left. Then I'm very triggered, and I feel like I feel very bad about my company or things I've done wrong, in my opinion. So what works for me, and what you should maybe try tonight before you go to bed, if you have a piece of paper or maybe a notebook, is write down 3 things you are grateful for that specific day. For example, for today, it can be anything. But the thing with this exercise is that it keeps you grounded, because sometimes you get lost in all the big things, like, oh, I didn't make an X amount of money this month or whatever. But when you just sit down and write down, like, what am I grateful for, 3 things, then you realize that other things are more important than just thinking about how much money you want to make, for example. So that's an exercise I would like to share with you all today. So tonight, before going to bed, write down 3 things you are grateful for, and it can be anything. For me, it's mostly the same almost every day, because I don't go out that much and I don't meet a lot of people lately, but I think it works. And something else I'd like to share is that if you feel like you're low in your energy, or you feel like you're doing things wrong, or just can't get ahead, then start writing down things that you are proud of that you did for yourself. So for me, it would mean that I'm proud that I, for example, helped someone that day, or that I'm proud that I did not yell at someone during traffic jam. Because every day I'm learning, during traffic, I can be like a totally different person. But just little things, or that you're happy that you finished a certain task. It's just being proud of yourself. And maybe for some people it will feel like, oh, that's so, it's so out of this world. It's so like, oh, it's zweverig in Dutch. But it's not, because I think that running a business also has to do with knowing who you are. If you don't know who you are, or don't know what you stand for, or how you want to feel, then it will affect your business. So I had to learn that too, the hard way, but I think it helped. For me, it helps. So maybe it will help for the people who are watching and listening. So that's the exercise I wanted to share. So write down 3 things you're grateful for, and also try to write down a few things that you're proud of that you did. Because we can't wait for other people to compliment us, because sometimes it's just not going to happen. And I also sometimes hear from women who take my course, like, oh, my family doesn't support me in my business, but they don't have to, because you're the one who's starting this business. So you have to believe that you can do it, and the rest will follow, So that's why I think this exercise will help, because it will help you look at yourself and be proud of yourself first. And then the other things will follow, or they will not matter depends how it works out. But that's something I do every day.
I
And
love
I
it.
still feel good.
Oh, I love it so much. And thank you so much for sharing this one. This is such an important one. And it might seem so simple, and at the same time, it really is not.
No,
Um,
it's confronting sometimes.
yes. To really sit down, take that time at the end of your day, and write down those three things that you're grateful for. And then as well, maybe three things or how many you can come up with that you are proud of things you did.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this one. This is such an important exercise. Is there anything that you kind of add or how you make it special for yourself when journaling?
Yeah, well, I always make tea first. And it's like a little special moment for myself. It takes like 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I have my tea and I'm in my bed, and then I write it down. And I really have to do it. And because I know it only takes 10 minutes or less, it doesn't feel like a hard task. Like, for example, if you would say before you go to bed, you have to do like 10 push-ups, I wouldn't do it because I don't like it. But with this writing thing, it works every time. And you can write anywhere. Maybe you will not wait until the end of the day. Maybe you're on the train or anywhere else. If you have a notebook with you, you can always write things down.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. I love it so much, and I love the how to make it a special situation or a special moment for yourself. I totally agree with you on that. Like making the tea when going to bed, do that here too. But I also love to put on, this is maybe something not everybody will resonate with that. So make sure you do it on your own style. But for me, for example, I light some candles. For me, being creative and crazy about colors, I'd love to add, use colors around anything of the things to be grateful for. But I just get totally excited when I hear you on this. I resonate with you.
Good to hear that I'm not the only one doing these things. But I understand that it takes time, and but if you create your own routine, you'll be fine. Because when you run a business, you just have to take care of yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. You really have to, know how to take care of yourself and make sure that you stay grounded.
Yes. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for this evening and for your wisdom and everything you've shared. And where can people find you and your courses? Would you maybe share that with us?
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at Party Planning Academy. And I have a website in Dutch. It's called Eerste Hulp bij partyplanning.nl. And there you can find all my courses. And in January, there will also be an international Party Planning Academy online, as you know, because you helped me set it up. But
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
You really need to go check that out as well.
Yeah. And also, if you are going to get married or you want to have nannies for your wedding, then it's bruiloftnanny.nl or both on Instagram and on the web. So yeah, you can find me online.
Yes, and people can email you at info@eerstehulp@partyplanning.nl.
But when you go on Instagram, you will find all the info.
Yes. Well, dear people, I would really suggest for any question that you have regarding entrepreneurship, regarding party planning, regarding your wedding, and finding some beautiful nannies there to keep the children busy while you're having a lot of fun. I'd say with any question you have, go find Fabienne. She's such a beautiful soul, and does her work with heart, as you probably experienced this moment and this evening, or whenever you're listening to this when it comes out. Go check out her beautiful online courses as well, because they are amazing, and she's put a lot of time and efforts in it. And I get excited every time that I look at it. So I'm sure you will too. Um,
Thank you.
yes, you're so welcome, dear. And I really hope that we get to do this some other day again on a new topic. I love it. I loved sitting here with you. I always do, and I'm always amazed by every new step and thing that you share. And um, just for everybody listening, thanks so much as well for being here with us. So many people came along, shared some hearts and love. So thank you for that. Just right now, we have a special offer on our Soulful Business Creation course. That there are 2 spots have opened up for the VIP mentoring if anybody is interested. Make sure that you get to contact us because we have, I think, 1.5 weeks more left, and then this offer is done. So I'd love for you to check it out, but make sure you go, make sure you go check out everything that Fabienne does, because this beautiful soul has a lot of things to share with you, and it's amazing. Thanks everybody for being here. Thank you, Fabienne. Is there maybe a last kind of sentence or motto or affirmation, something that you live by that you'd like to share here?
Something that I live by, yeah, I love quotes. But yeah, one that will always stick with me is the best thing to invest in is yourself. No matter if it's money or time or whatever, but I really believe that,
Or energy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Thank you for that one. That's a strong one.
You're welcome.
The best thing to invest in is yourself. Yes. Let's leave it at that. Can't add anything else to that. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. I wish you a beautiful evening, and let's talk soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.